Hey, what's up guys, it's ElasticSpyder here, and in today's video we're going to be looking at the tier 10 Japanese cruiser, the Zao. And be sure to stay tuned because this is one heck of a replay in terms of high damage numbers, and we'll have to see if it's as exciting as the numbers say it is. So be sure to stay tuned for this epic replay. Alright, so the Zao, we are in the replay. The Zao, the tier 10 Japanese cruiser, it is top of the tree for this heavy cruiser line, and up until this point the Japanese cruisers have been pretty, well, let's just say similar. Once you start out with the Aoba, and many could argue the Furutaka, but I consider the Aoba, you get those 203 guns at the Furutaka, and then obviously you continue on with those with the Aoba. And the Aoba is really, in my opinion, one of the first cruisers in the Japanese cruiser line that is very uniform, and it's what to expect from the good Japanese, both HE and AP penetrations with those 203mm guns, and you can just devastate at those tiers. But at the top tiers you can still do just that. You just have to be a little bit more careful about the way you're approaching these things. Now let me turn down, I think the music is a little too high, a little too loud, but here I get spotted pretty early on, and obviously I don't want to be taking too much damage, and obviously I pushed in a little bit too hard. So we're going to try and get out of this situation as quick as possible, and wow, what a great start of the replay. Already half down in terms of HP, and hopefully we can recover from this very, very poor start. And I mean, besides the big damage numbers, there is another reason why I chose this replay. And, well, you guys can kind of start off seeing this here. Nonetheless, the Zao is the pinnacle of this tech tree line. And honestly, I hope that I can show you why it's such a good cruiser at the top tier. Between its great HE and its great AP, and even the 12-kilometer torpedoes that I guess somewhat recently have been added to the ship. This ship is just, it's always been up there for my top few favorite cruisers. However, as of late, it's become arguably one of my favorite. And of course the Stalingrad, I cannot forget to mention the Stalingrad. That is probably by far the most fun cruiser to play, just for all around YOLO capability. But in terms of adding a little bit of skill into the mix, the Zao does have quite a bit of fun potential. And is that a Montana shooting HE at me? It looks like it. That was not fun. So I'm only down to 17,000 HP now, and I've only done 8,000x damage. And well, I guess after that 10k salvo, we can add that with our 8k and get 18,000. But by any means, this is not a good trade. We are still negative in terms of how much damage we've done to how much damage we dealt. And this is just possibly the worst start that I've had in my Zao. And wow, look at that. Not even 5 minutes in, well, 4 minutes in, we're already down to less than a quarter of my HP, 7,900. And this is probably the worst start that you could have in the Zao. And this is part of the reason why I picked this replay, just to kind of show you guys the importance of staying alive. The importance of staying alive in World of Warships is by far the most important thing you can do for yourself to, you know, keep your damage totals up, obviously, but also be able to support the team and hopefully try and help them win. That was a nice salvo on the Zao, even at, what is it, 17, almost, let's just say 17 kilometers. We are able to smack that guy very, very consistently. I'm not too sure what's going on with the replay here. It looks like the shell tracers aren't very happy with me at the moment. But nonetheless, that's one of the powerful things about the Zao. Like I said in the intro, is its great AP, and here we can showcase some of the great HE if we so choose to do so. And look at that, it's nearly 7,000 HE damage against that Shimakaze. And I cannot stand this at the moment, all this jittering. So I'm going to kind of leave it here, and throughout the replay, maybe I'll go in and see you know, where I'm shooting. Oh, maybe this is better, I guess. Can I actually do this? No, I can't hit shift. nonetheless, though, I really do want to focus on in this replay is being able to recover from basically nothing. And that's the damage numbers later on that you'll see. Yes, I did damage farm quite a bit, but I thought it was appropriate for the time. Obviously here, I don't have much support. I've got a Bismarck and a Yamato. With a carrier in the game, I can't take on literally their whole fleet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, and then their carrier. Yeah, it's just not going to happen. So obviously I'm going to be kiting away, and in this situation you almost have to be kiting away, because if you're not, well, guess what? You're going to die. And like, I was fortunate enough to live throughout the first few minutes of the game. But if you don't kite and start repositioning when you need to, man, that is so bad. You will be a dead man. So I'm going to do that, but trying to be an opportunistic Zal player that I am, I'm going to take shots when I need them and go undetected when I need them, because of the great concealment on this ship. So first shot out on the Buffalo, not a bad salvo, 11.5 for the first shells down range on him. Second salvo, let's see how good it is. Not bad, not bad. 5,000. A little bit surprised there we didn't get another Citadel, but as you can see, I've taken no damage from the Buffalo, and that's one of the nice things about the Zao is, well, it's got great rudder shifts, got great turning, but it also has, if you do run the propulsion mod like I do, has very nice acceleration. And that is something that I've kind of switched to, running a lot more propulsion mods on my tier 10 cruisers than running steering gears. And for the most part, that's the only change that I've made. Everything else is the exact same from any other video that I've been doing. And I kind of just, I guess I'll just kind of explain my reasoning behind that, is that for tier 10 cruisers, the main thing that you need is dodging capabilities for either battleship shells or torpedoes or carrier drops. And so your first instinct might be using steering gears, and that was obviously my first instinct. But with the Zao legendary mod, you can get some very crazy steering. And I think with steering gears, I think you could get it down to like 5-ish seconds or something like that, or maybe yeah, I think it was around 5 seconds. And then if you did full steering gears, meaning you did double rudder shift, you could get it down to something very retarded, like 3 seconds. You're basically like a destroyer, but in cruiser form. But honestly, you don't need that much steering gears, and here's the reason why. You don't need it because what happens when you like a battleship shells like this situation, battleships are incoming, I slow down to half speed, and then I need to accelerate again. Well, my acceleration is going very slow, and maybe this is a poor example because I'm not getting shot again, but nonetheless, it's the idea that counts. And even if I'm going from half speed or pretty much a stop, it certainly does help increasing the speed that you accelerate at, or increasing your acceleration from a very low speed to going up to a high speed. That's very important, especially at the higher tiers. And obviously, if you're going at half speed, your steering isn't going to your increased steering is not going to help you nearly as much as if you're going full speed. So with that being said, like, you've got just a different trajectory is what I'm saying. So with that being said, that's kind of why I've been using propulsion mod. And just as a rule of thumb, basically any ship that has, I would say, around 8.5 to 9.5 seconds rudder shift, I think you can get away without using rudder shift, and you can slap on propulsion. Now, obviously, I'm not saying that you should do it on your battleships or something like that, but I think for the most part, that's kind of my rule of thumb, is around 8.5 to 9.5 seconds. You can forego using steering gears and run propulsion. And I think that actually has worked out quite well for me. So even with the carrier in the game, the Zao, it doesn't have terrible AA. I mean, I've got pretty much nothing spec'd into AA at the moment, as you can see here with my 5-kilometer AA range, and then also my lack of defensive fire. But nonetheless, those 100 millimeters on either side are doing some work. So right now, the game is actually quite close. However, we are down by, what is it, 80 points? Well, I guess a lot more now that our down score just got deleted by the enemy Montana. But I also didn't realize this until later on in the game, is actually this Montana sitting back there is actually AFK. So with that being said, I'm just trying to counter these guys as hard as possible, and then hopefully be able to counter push back into A with my Montana. That's, well, he's a little bit, he's seen the better days. Then hopefully my carrier in the midway can kind of strike either this Richelieu or the Buffalo and kind of help me out maybe with this Musashi. But at this point, it looks like it's pretty much a losing battle. It's going to be very difficult. Obviously, I'm still going to try for the win, because that's what I always strive for. I always strive for the win. I don't really, I care about my damage, but I do care about the win more so. But we do manage to get 2 torpedoes on the Musashi. One of them did flood, which means his damage control is certainly out. But in this situation, it's pretty much just farm as much damage as you can, because the win, well, especially with a quarter HP Montana and one Montana that's completely AFK, it's not looking too good. And that's something that I would recommend, you know. And I'm not saying that you should always damage farm, because that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that damage farming is actually somewhat useful. It's useful because it is still stressful situations, having multiple people shooting at you, and you have to also prioritize the best targets and that sort of thing, and practice your aim under high pressure. So I think that's something that it's often overlooked in these situations where you don't have, you're basically fighting a losing battle, but you still need to get some practice in. Obviously, if you do competitive, this would help you a lot, but nonetheless, wow, look at these last 3 HE salvos. The first one was around 7k, the last one 8.5k on that Richelieu, who has very, very poor armor on his upper belt. But nonetheless, we're just cracking. We're gonna crack 200k very shortly, and at this moment I kind of realize that, well, you know, probably should just focus on damage farming at this point. It's over now that our other Montana died. Yes, our carrier could probably kill that Richelieu and then maybe go kill that Buffalo if he's got AP dive bombers, which doesn't look like he's got. But again, just focusing on making some very, very nice plays here. So I purposely did one a little bit more to the right here, so that I could actually tag that that Musashi, because I did expect him to kind of turn into the cap, especially if he's not spotted. But I don't think I expected him to turn in that much, and it looks like all my torpedoes are gonna miss except for one. And I do apologize for that very weird and glitchy, thing with the torpedoes and the shell tracers. But nonetheless, I actually managed to detonate that Musashi. A pretty fortunate roll of the dice there, but I do manage to get a nice detonation for 40k. Had he not gotten detonated, that's probably around 20k damage. Then I would say fairly easily farm another 20k off him, especially since I would have gotten I did get a flood, which means his damage control would have been down, and any fires would have been very, very crippling to him. So at this point, I'm at 260,000. My head is in full get to 300k mode, and I really want to try and do that. And here, all I want the carrier to do is just pretty much just keep these guys at D-spotted. However, it's not looking like it's going to happen. So what I'm thinking now is, well, I have to get close, and I also have to bait them to shoot me. And the only way that I'm going to get baited, or I'm going to bait them to shoot me, is if I have to, if I show a little bit of side. And fortunately, I guess for me, I showed a little bit of side, and the Kerfus is of course shooting HE, because why wouldn't he? But at this point, I'm 28k, a little bit less than 28k away, And again, all I want to do is keep this Kerfer spotted. And oh my god, 9,000. You don't even need 32mm of upper armor belt armor. You just have a Zao, be a Zao, and you are going to be golden. Because those HE salvos are disgusting. We managed to get 2 fires on the Montana, and I'm so tempted to just tell that Montana to let them burn, let me get 300k, but it's a little too late now, and he ends up DCPing. So I'm just trying to get a second fire on this curve first, or get a fire on this curve first rather, and hopefully be able to crack that. Unfortunately, I do get a nice salvo off, but no fires there, and that really would have done it, I think, with only a few ticks left on the game. That pretty much would have done it for me, but unfortunately I'm just going to end up shy of that 300k mark. Very, very unfortunate way to end the game there. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, well, we managed to get, well, a good amount of credits and XP. Also got some very nice medals, Wither, Confederate, Dreadnought, and High Caliber, and it just kind of goes to show what you can come back from. And like I said, 5 minutes in, I was sitting at 7,900 HP, and it was not looking very good. I was sitting at, I think, 60k damage. 5 minutes in, or maybe 6 minutes in, we'll say, 7,900 HP to my ship, and then this is how the replay ends. So again, like I said, kind of in the beginning / middle, that it is, of course, damage farming, but it also was a good practice for me to put myself in these situations, and knowing that I can come back from what would have been a very, very poor game to come back and get this result: 294,000, 8 planes, 1 ship killed, 9 fires, and 4 citadels. A very, very nice result nonetheless. Team score wise, 1855 base XP, and well, let's just say that even though the Takao on the enemy team, I'm sure that he did very, very well. If you're on the losing team and you're getting more XP than the enemy's top player, well, it just says something about your performance, whether you're damage farming or not. And unfortunately, I didn't get the other few detailed reports, but nonetheless, I think it was still a very nice game. And obviously I'm running premium, so I'm hoping that I'm earning a little bit of credits here and there, because I certainly do need them for something that's coming new in the new year, but we'll get into that a little bit later. So I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, leave a like. What do you guys think about damage farming? Of course, it's always a hot topic. Let me know down in the comment section below. But be sure to have a wonderful day, guys, and I'll see you guys later.